Hi everyone! Welcome to Modern Hmong Girl.
It's your girl Emmy.
And it's your girl Lex. Welcome to episode 13, Uncomfortable Topics with Hmong Parents. I was going to say getting uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable. That was our other episode. Yeah, today's episode is going to be talking about topics that, you know, our Hmong parents really didn't tell us or go through with us, that is just really taboo, and how do we, you know, not make it like that, you know? So our first topic is going to be about periods. Period.
And you know what's so funny? I'm on my period right now.
Oh, there we go.
I feel like periods it's just a topic overall that's so uncomfortable to be talked about, even with people in general. Like, you know, I remember like when we were in school, or like I leaked through my pants, and I was wearing white pants, and nobody said anything. You know, it's kind of like those topics are like, oh, if I tell her, she's gonna get embarrassed. So what? I just let her walk around with freaking period on her ass the whole time at school. You know, it's like, so it's such a weird topic too.
Was this at Central?
No, it was middle school.
Oh,
I went to the bathroom and I had a sweater and I wrapped it around me.
Oh
like
my gosh.
I didn't walk around with like it showing. I was in class and went to the bathroom, so it was fine.
Oh,
but I feel like these are situations where like it's not just like, you know, Hmong parents, but like overall in general.
Yeah.
But then I feel like it's a responsibility of our parents to let us know what periods are.
Yeah.
Because like as a younger kid, I didn't know what a period was. Like when I first got my period, I woke up in the middle of the night, and then I went to the bathroom. I was like, oh, what is this? And I went back to sleep. And I woke up again, and I was like, what the heck? And I told my sister, and then she's like, oh, yeah, your period. I was like, what the heck is a period? You know? But I remember we learned it about in school a little, like in elementary school when they taught us like sex ed.
Oh, I didn't learn in elementary school.
Maybe it was middle school. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I have that. I feel
health.
like I learned it in 6th grade though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I learned in 7th grade. Yeah, it was health class.
Don't trust me though, I got bad memory.
Yeah. But I do agree, like, you know, overall it is an uncomfortable topic to talk about. And how old were you when you got your first period?
I was in 6th grade, so I was like 12.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I was 12. 11 or 12, or 12 or 13, one around those.
Okay. Yeah, I was 13, and I think, like, you know, when you do hit that puberty stage, no one really talks about it. Even, like, your friends, you know, like, no one is like, oh, we gotta start wearing bras now. We didn't even talk about bras.
It's not like the movies. They're like, oh, yeah, you have period? Yeah, go ahead, period. Now we're wearing trainer bras.
Yes, exactly.
Like those, like, it's not like how they show in the movies. And I'm just like, oh, you have period.
Have you seen Carrie?
I have, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I never ever want to, like, you know, just have my period in the shower rooms, and then all the girls are like making fun and everything. But yeah, it's not like the movies at all. But overall, periods is like a uncomfortable topic to talk about when you first get it. But I think, like, as adults now, it's really like normal. Like, we could just talk about it, and you know, if we were just to go to the bathroom and a girl needs a pad, we'll be like, oh yeah, here you go. But I used to be so shy to go to the bathroom, like take the pad out and everything. I'll do it so quiet. I'll be like, while the people like next to me, they're like, bro, we know you're on your period.
Literally. And they're like, we know what periods are. We're on a period too. You know, we always think it's such a, oh my god, I'm on a period, that's gross. Like, you know, it was always like that.
Right, yeah. Yeah, but my mom, she never told me about it. My sister actually got her period before me, so I got my period at 13.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so, but then she got her period just like 2 months earlier than I did. And she was like, Lex, can you go to the bathroom with me? Like, I don't know what's happening. I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, I have blood on my underwear. And I was like, girl, I don't know what that is too. And so, like, I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Let's get mom's pads for you. And so I just got it for her, and I was like, just wear that. You know, maybe it's something. I don't know. And then we searched it up and everything, and it was a damn period. And then I was like, oh shit, you got your period. And then like 2 months later, I got mine too, and I was like, oh my gosh, I know what it is. And so like it's funny because people see my younger sister as older than me too, and so that's why I'm like, yep, she's my older sister. Like she did experience it first before me, and she has a family before me too, and so that's why I'm like, yep, I'm learning from her as well as she's learning from me. But yeah, it was an uncomfortable topic to talk about with my mom. And when she found out that we got our periods, I think because we were like taking her pads and she noticed her pads were going down. And so she came to ask us, she was like, oh, are you guys on your period? And we were so like awkward, you know, we didn't really know how to respond. We are like, yes. Like we were so shy, and she was like, oh, okay. And that's when like she told us about it and everything, but she didn't go into like the whole like spiel of, oh yeah, your ovaries are making eggs and like they go into your uterus and da da da, stuff like that. But it was awkward though.
I feel like now though, parents are a lot better with educating the kids on it. Like kids are more aware. And I feel like kids nowadays, they get their periods a lot younger now.
Yes.
Right? Isn't it weird? Like now it's like 9 and up. Like I've had the people I know that, you know, got their periods like 9 years old. So it's like, how early do you start teaching them like about periods, you know, when no, they're starting really young.
That's so true. I know this little girl got her period in 5th grade. I was like, what's going on? I mean, I know that, you know, in our generation we have some younger girls who got in their period really early too, but you know, definitely in this generation we hear a lot of very young girls getting their period very early. And yeah, I think, you know, we should definitely start teaching our girls early about, you know, changes to their body and puberty. Yeah, that's really, really important. Anything else to add on to the period topic?
I think it's not just teaching your girls, but also your boys.
Oh, yeah.
About women's period and what they go through, what they experience, you know? Because, like, boys, some boys even now, they're all like, okay, go get me some pads. But like, what the fuck is pads? Or like, pads with wings.
Yeah.
On Facebook, they write pads and wings.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the pads with the wings on it, you know?
Yes, yeah.
So I think it's important to also teach your sons as well. Like, yes, it may be an awkward topic, but it's a topic that needs to be discussed so that both parties are aware of, like, oh, what periods are and what space they need when they're on the period and, you know, what they're comfortable with and stuff. So I think it's a topic that definitely should be discussed with your sons and your daughters.
Yeah, absolutely. And also another thing to add, periods for us women, like our hormones are so different because there are like 4 phases. I don't remember all of them. I just remember the luteal phase. But the first phase is like, you know, you have a regular week, like your hormones are stable or whatever. In the second week, like you're also regular too, like you're normal. And then third week, that's like the week before you're getting your period, and you just somehow feel like the world is just, you know, chaotic, and your state of mind is just like it's literally like a lot of scribbles and everything like that. And then you get your period and you're like, oh, okay, I understand, it was because of that. And during your week of your period, you also feel those emotions as well. And then it like resets back to the normal.
I just feel like we get 1 week break. A 1 week break of like nothing. Of like peace and quiet, you know, and then boom, you're back to like, oh shoot, I'm craving this and that. Oh my god, I'm feeling sad. Oh my god, I'm feeling happy. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. You know, it's just so crazy how like hormones really like affect us. Like today I was driving. This morning I was driving. I was like, oh my god, I was so happy. I was like, oh my god, I want to cry. Like, I was thinking like, I'm so happy that I feel like I want to cry. Like, am I happy? So happy that I feel like I want to cry, or am I happy but I'm sad? Like, I was like, which one is it, bitch?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So I just feel like these are things we should talk about with our kids. Like, oh, your emotions are changing and that's normal, you know, during your period. Or like you get really bad cramps, because some people get really, really bad cramps. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, totally.
Like, it's better to discuss it with your kid so they're aware than not discuss it with them and they're not aware and they get embarrassed because, oh, I don't know anything about this, you
Yes,
know?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's how my sister and I were feeling. We were feeling
Hmm.
embarrassed because we're like, when my mom asked us,
Hmm.
I was like, yes, we
Imagine you got
did.
out of school for the first time ever.
Oh, God.
Like, you know, like,
Mm-mm.
it's way better to educate your kids on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything else to add for this topic?
No. Do you have anything else?
No, let's move on to the next one,
right.
which is sex.
EX.
Sex.
Yes.
Oh my lord. Very
Very
uncomfortable.
taboo.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I cannot. You go first.
I feel like even now, I don't know how to like talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like it's just such a topic where you don't talk about it with your family. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because like your family is like, da, 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 unless you have a really different relationship with your family, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But depending on different family dynamics, it can always stay an uncomfortable topic even as you're older. But I still think that it's ideal to really teach your kids about it because they learn it in school anyways, you know, when they're like in middle school. But yeah, I still think it's good to teach your kids like to prevent them from impregnating a woman or like getting women pregnant. Like you need to use condoms, you need to do this and that. You know, don't get women pregnant. And for the girls too, like don't sleep with men. With always use condoms. You're gonna get STIs or all this stuff. I think you just discuss it like really broadly with your kids, but you don't have to go in depth, you know, with details. But I remember as kids, we'd be like, how did you make my baby brother? You know?
Yeah.
How do you discuss those topics with kids? Like, what do you think?
I honestly don't know. I remember that I did ask my parents, or I asked my mom, and she said that her and my dad just love each other, and that's why, you know, and that's basically it. But that doesn't really give us like the logistics, you know.
I think as kids, it's okay to say that, but as you turn to teens, you should definitely get to the part where you educate them on sex, you know?
Yes.
Like preventative steps to take.
You know, I feel like now I am comfortable with talking to my mom about sex, but not entirely, not my entire sex life. Just like, oh yeah, like I am sexually active. Like I just tell her that and that's it. But I don't tell her like any of like the details, like, oh, what's my favorite position? No, I don't tell her that, okay? But yeah, now that I am an adult, I am comfortable with telling her. But when I was younger, when I first lost my virginity, I did not tell her. I was like, I'm not going to tell her at all because she was very strict, as was my father. Wanted us to be pure until marriage, okay? Like, this was what.
And I
like,
love that for people that was able to do that, you know? But.
Because like my ass believed in that. I had a really traumatic experience when I did lose my virginity, and like I was with my first boyfriend, and my parents were very furious because they thought that I wasn't pure anymore, and they were right. I wasn't pure anymore, but like they made it sound so terrible. They made it sound so terrible that I was so disgusted of my body and what I did, and I really felt like, you know, they portrayed that having sex with people was just so icky. Like, your body is now so icky and no one wants to touch you anymore and you're just done. Like, that's it. And you just have to end up with that person forever because they already have touched you and everything. But yeah, that's like how everything went like that, and I was like, oh Lord, you know, I can't believe it. But now I'm at a better state, and I do feel like, you know, with parents now, they should definitely let their sons and their daughters know about this topic more because it's really important. And just like Emmy mentioned, like the preventative care and steps for sex, as like they are hitting puberty because they need to know this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, especially with young boys too, because I feel like boys, like I can't speak for all of them.
Get wet dreams. You know what I mean? They're like, why did this happen? You know?
Yes. And like when they wake up and they're like, why is that hard? Like
morning wood.
Yeah, like what's going on? And then they start playing around and they're like, oh. But yeah, like even I hear like stories from like guy friends and stuff, and they don't really know what's going on. But I'm glad that like they could be comfortable with talking about it too, but in an appropriate way though. Yeah. So then moving on to our next topic, death. Yeah.
I know these are very whoa topics. Death. Where do you start? Life insurance. Let's start with life insurance.
Oh God.
That's a topic that Hmong people do not like to discuss at all, depending on different families. Like my family, we're comfortable with it because we know that life insurance is for stability, for when somebody passes. You can use that for the funeral, or for your children when you pass, so they have something to use when they're older. So I feel like with my family, it's something that's not too uncomfortable with, just with life insurance. But when it comes to like, oh, your will and stuff, they're not really willing to discuss about that stuff because they're like, oh, if I talk about will, like that means I'm gonna die. Like no, it's not that stuff. It's for the measures for when it does happen. What do you want to do? That's why when people pass, people fight over life insurance money, this and that, because you don't have anything stated in your will that this goes to this daughter, this goes to this son and stuff. So I think it's so important to talk about these topics with your parents now.
I think you really covered it all. I mean, I'll just add for the life insurance that it is something like it's a huge amount, and after like recently going through a death in my family too, and along with the sunshine money for the Hmong culture, that is, I feel like it gets really political for no reason, and that's when, like, to be honest, that's when you also get to see the true colors of people, because it's like, oh my gosh, why are you acting so rabid for? Like, you need to calm down, and it's not about how much they're giving you or how much you are going to get. It's really about just the love that you have for the one that has passed, and that's it. And with the amount of love that you have for that person, like, that is really how much you are getting back, and that's all. I'm just gonna leave it at that because it's definitely a lot, and it's very stressful, very sad to discuss these topics. And I think that life insurance money can also be used as a tactic to blackmail people too, like, oh, if you don't do this for me, you're not going to get my life insurance money because I put you down as one of my what are they called again? Like,
beneficiaries.
Yeah, beneficiaries. And it's just like, bro, I'm still not going to do that. I don't care. You could take me off, like, if you're going to threaten me with your life insurance, then I'd rather just not have your life insurance.
I think it's super important to have life insurance so that when unexpected situations happen, you have, the money to do a funeral. Because Hmong funerals, girl, they is expensive, okay?
Yeah,
like,
extremely.
Yeah, like, who needs, I mean, not to like Hmong culture, but like 10 cows and like 3 days of the funeral and like all this, it's just all this freaking beer. Like, you could literally save so much money not buying those alcoholic beverages and like, but
yeah,
I mean, I feel like that's a different topic to discuss.
Yeah.
Of course, more in depth about, but
yeah. But it's like our college tuition.
Yeah.
$50K for 4 days. Because Friday you prep, Saturday, Sunday is the actual event, and then Monday is the like burial and everything.
Like,
cleaning up.
I understand our culture. Like, you have to do the respects, like the elders and stuff. But like, I feel like funeral is about the person that has passed. so we should make it about them, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I've just seen where people get so drunk, and it's just like, why? You know?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But that's about this topic.
Yeah.
Our next topic is health.
Super important. Very. I feel like no matter how healthy you are, how young you are, you can have so many health issues. No matter if you go to the gym and eat really healthy, you can still have cancer. You know, like, because I know someone. Well, there's a Hmong storyteller right now on you know, Lang Vang, the storyteller, the Hmong scary storyteller.
The one that you listen to.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
So right now he has cancer, and he's like, he goes to the gym all the time, and he always works out, eats super healthy, but then he has cancer, you know. So it's like, no matter how healthy you think you are, you can always end up having a sickness, you know. So I think it's super important that we talk to our parents about going to the doctors. I know it's something that Hmong people hate, or they used to hate. I don't know. Some still do. Like, they hate going to a doctor because they think that, oh, they're just going to use my body as a test to do this and this, put this and that in me, you know? But I'm like, it's so important to go so you could detect what you actually have. Because, like, my oldest brother, he always, like, had bad bowel movements. Like, there was bloody stools and stuff, and he never went. And then, boom, when he went, he was already at stage 4 colon cancer. You know? So it's like, it's so, like, stop thinking that Hmong medicine is going to cure you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, yes, go ahead, drink it, whatever, but it's not going to cure your cancer, you know? Like, if Hmong medicine had the cure to cancer, shit, no one would have cancer. Like, you know what I mean? But I think, I mean, like, yes. Wait, I'm not bashing, like, Hmong people or anything, you know? I just think it's, because I've just been through, like, things with health so much, like, with my brother and then with my dad now, too. I just think it's so important to go to the doctors. Like, now, if I go to my dad's doctor's appointment to him, I tell his doctor everything that's wrong with him. Because I'm like, I want you to get checked. And if it's nothing, then that's so good to hear. But if it's something, we have to get it checked so that we could prevent something bigger to happen, you know?
Right.
Like, if you are at stage 1 cancer, like, stage 1 having cancer, you could go get chemo and it could disappear. But if you don't go until you're already, like, at stage 4, what can happen? Nothing. You could just wait for, you know, death. But some people has had, like, miracles where they're stage 4 and they get cured, you know. So I think it's super important to talk to your parents about going to their appointment. I feel very strongly about this topic.
No, yeah, because it's really crucial.
Yeah.
And I totally understand where you're coming from, too, because already having to experience your brother's situation, and then now you're in your dad's situation, like, of course you're going to take every measure because it's so serious. And, you know, with my grandpa too, that's what happened to him, because he didn't want to go to the hospital. Like, he's like, it's really like the Hmong OG mindset where they're like, oh, I'm fine. And they're so modest about it. They're like, don't worry about me. I'm okay. Like, I can still walk. I can still stand. I could still drive. But it's not about that, you know. It's really about what's inside, you know, because, yeah, you may look good right now, but that's just in the short run. That's not going to be in the long run. And so it's really about, you know, convincing them in a way that it is okay to go to the hospital. It's nothing bad, and they're not going to run tests on you. They're not trying to get you for your money, low-key.
I mean, now that we gotta pay for it, yes. But
I know.
I'm so thankful for healthcare that covers for the elders and people with low income. But goddamn, y'all, healthcare is so freaking expensive. Oh my gosh, we're going broke just trying to stay healthy.
Yeah, that's why, like, I try to avoid the emergency room. That's why, you know, we want our folks to go early. That way, we don't need to go to urgent care or to the emergency room, because that's, like, those are the highest bills that you have to pay.
You go early to prevent emergencies that could happen, you know?
Right.
So it's super important.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, even during COVID, when my dad got COVID, and it was like, you remember that? Yeah. And he was having, like, really bad symptoms where he was, like, hyperventilating, and it just like he just wasn't comfortable at all, and so we are like, okay, well, you're hyperventilating, you need to go to the hospital because like we can't help you here. But then he only wanted to do like his like Hmong medicine and his Hmong spells. In Hmong it's called kukong. And okay, honestly, yes, I do like respect that our culture and religion, but it just wasn't working at that time, because he just really needed help. And so when he did go in, honestly, he didn't say it, but yes, the doctors did help him, and he came back and he was fine. But then like he was kind of upset at me because I was the one telling him to go to the hospital, and I told my mom to take him too. And so he was like upset at me after, and he was like, oh, I didn't even need to go to the hospital, like now I'm all fine, and yeah, now I have to pay for this bill. And I'm like, dude, why do you think you're fine? Like, you came back from the hospital, that's why you're fine. But yeah, it's just like, one of these situations that happens a lot in our Hmong community, and we want to, we want to our loved ones to stay with us.
Yeah,
and
be healthy.
yeah, so that's why even if like they are going to see it in a bad way, at least they're still with us. So yeah.
And don't forget to take care of yourself too.
Yeah.
That's something I gotta remind myself.
Yeah, I feel like it's also
2025, hit the gym.
Yes.
Yeah.
One more month.
Oh God.
Yeah, but I also feel like it's weird to also disclose your health to your parents.
Yeah.
But I think what's comfortable or uncomfortable is like, when you do go get checked for the STIs or something like that.
Oh, stuff like that.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like, yes, exactly.
And that's when I'll be like, you right. That's when I'll be like, you right.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's just really uncomfortable to talk about, and especially if you were to get birth control, like I feel like now I am not shy to, or I'm not uncomfortable to tell my mom if I have birth control. But
when we were younger,
yeah,
it was just because we also didn't want them to know we were sexually active, so that tied into it.
Yeah.
But now that we're older and they know that, we're sexually active, it's okay. We have like birth control because. Yeah,
but I feel like this should be also a episode we talk about
birth control because it could be for just like kids, or like for your hormones, or like your acne. It's for so many different things, but also for birth control, and we'll talk about that in a different topic.
Yes. All right, moving on to sexuality. Yes. Oh my, the spectrum. I think that when you are younger, you don't know anything. And my parents, they're very traditional, so it's just always, you're straight and that's it. If you're gay, then no, they'll try to like convert you, or they'll try to persuade you and do some jingle bell on you.
Say, don't die. Like they could go down.
Yeah,
because something, you got possessed by something,
Yes. Yeah, and so, but I think as you get older, you start to understand your attraction towards people and everything like that. But I have a funny story. So, I had my friend over. She's a girl, and we were in my room for the whole entire day just doing girl things, And then after she left, my dad was like, are you a lesbian? And I was like, the hell? I'm not a lesbian. I don't think I am, but it was like a newish term to me too. I mean, like I always knew lesbian, but it wasn't really like tossed around like that. And that was when like people were just starting to come out, but it was still uncomfortable for them to come out too. And so like when my dad asked me that, I was like, what? Like I was so confused, and like that made me question my sexuality even more. So I was like, bro, it's your fault if I'm a lesbian. Okay, so but yeah, like it made me like question like, oh, am I like, do I like girls or do I like boys? Like I always know that yes, I should like boys, but now like you're making me question if I'm a lesbian too, because just because I had a girl in my room for the whole entire day, like means that I'm a lesbian. Like, I guess. And then like even with my brothers being gay too, like my brothers are not gay, but then my dad would like ask like, oh, are you guys gay, like out of nowhere, and my brothers would be like, no, we're not. And it was just really weird how, you know, it was brought up into the family, or into like our, yeah, into our family. And tossing the word gay around too when it was inappropriate, like, oh, that's gay, you know, like it made being gay sound bad. But I mean, I hope people don't say that anymore, like, oh, that's gay, da da da, you know. But back then, it was very common for people to just be like, oh, that's gay. Like, why are you doing that? But yeah, it was something that was tossed around in my family, but is no longer ish. But yeah, that's what I have to say about sexuality. I mean, I'm still like exploring myself too, and um, I actually did ask my mom, like, what if I was bisexual, like 2 weeks ago, and her answer was so funny. She was like, I would be sad, but I would accept you because I love you and I want you to be happy. And yeah. I was like, okay, I like that answer, but I just didn't like that you would be sad, because why are you gonna be sad? But I think it's still something that is being accepted into the Hmong community. And actually, when we went to the Hmong New Year the past weekend, I saw some gay couples together too, and they were holding hands, and I was like, wow, I love the representation. They're so strong on it, and it's not uncomfortable for them anymore like it was back then. And it's very taboo in the community to be gay or lesbian or anything like that too. And I feel like the LGBTQ community is like, even though like Hmong people claim that we are an ally, like low key in the inside, like if it happens to their family members, they're very anti, you know, because like, yeah, they'll accept everyone else, but if it happens to them, then they're like, no, you know. Yeah.
I don't really have anything else to add on. I feel like now it's a lot more accepted for Hmong people. Like back then, it used to be like straight like no, you know, but now it's a lot more people are a lot more accepting, and I love that. And I hope that we continue to be more open to it and accepting of it, because you love your kids and you should allow them, you know, to love themselves and to be who they are.
So let's jump into politics.
Yes.
It is very uncomfortable. I feel like we don't really disclose all of that.
I feel like Hmong family, a lot of elder Hmong families, they don't care about politics, American politics, so it's not talked about, you know.
Yeah.
But I think it's very important to educate them about that stuff, because it really does affect them.
It is something that needs to be educated within our community. Like, civic engagement is so important, and I think that it is uncomfortable because, you know, some of our family members, they may not know 100% about the candidate, but they'll still vote for the candidate.
Like, they might know one thing that would be beneficial, and everything else is like bad as hell, you know, which they don't know about, you know.
Yes.
But I do appreciate now that there's the Hmong channels on YouTube that talks about the politics and stuff.
Yeah.
Because my dad watches those. Ted, I think his name is Ted. My dad watches him all the time talking about, oh, Kamala, oh, Trump, oh, this, oh, the war, and all that stuff. So my dad's really, sometimes he knows more than me about, like, there's the, like, he's like, oh, there's the war, like, Russia, like, this and that, China. I'm like, oh, dang, you're learning a lot. You know, he's home, just on the TV, watching that stuff. So I really like that he's able to watch that stuff and get educated himself about it. But yeah, I still think it's important for us kids or younger ones to educate them about it.
Yeah. Yes, I agree 100%. And yeah, that's really it about politics.
But mom wise, I think there's so much to
Yeah.
dissect for this topic.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
very overwhelming
Yeah.
to even think about it.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's something that we have to learn for ourselves. Like, it really starts with our initiation of doing better, you know?
Yeah, the purpose of this. Like,
Yeah.
what is the purpose? It's purpose is not for you. It's for the community. You know.
Yeah.
I feel like it's something that really definitely needs to be discussed and framework
Yeah, it just
re-looked
needs
at again.
yeah, it just needs to be like very honest, like cuz I think that's something what Hmong people are really good at is just sweeping it under the rug,
Yeah.
and just like brushing on the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to like really talk about that toxicity that comes within our community because there's a lot, and I think that it's like no one really wants to talk about it because no one wants to talk about the bad things. They just want to roll with the good things, but the bad things are still happening too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's for another episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, but moving on to the next topic, it is
Toxic masculinity.
mm-hmm.
And I, I feel like toxic masculinity is just something that is so hard to teach
Yeah.
our younger ones to not like have that trait in them, because it's just so ingrained in the Hmong community. And I mean like we have gone a lot further from how we were back then. Like I'm so like thankful that our younger generations now, they are a little more educated on that stuff, but I feel like a lot of them don't realize that they have toxic masculinity in them because
Yes.
it's just a part of me. It's just a part of who I am. Like no, that part of you is toxic masculinity,
Right.
And I also feel strongly that a lot of times, like, men hate that. They hate that. It's just a part of them, and it's so hard to unlearn because that's all they're growing up. So I feel like it's also so hard for them, which is something that I feel like it's not discussed about. We only think, oh, like girls touch this and that, and like we don't think about, okay, like, then how can we help them unlearn it? Like it's I think it's really easy to talk about to our younger generation, but with the older generation, I don't think they'll ever understand.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just so hard to talk to like older Hmong men about it.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, I don't know.
I agree because I can't talk about this topic with my dad or with my uncles, any like older Hmong man, because they will deny it, and they'll just be like, oh, why are you blaming me and everything like that, like what are you talking about? But how their response is that toxic masculinity right there. They're already showing it. They're not like open about it. They're not like in the perspective, or they don't want to learn a new perspective on themselves. And so I agree, it is hard to talk about it with older Hmong men because they're so like accustomed to this trait of theirs already that they don't know that they have. And so I feel like they are already at an age where they just don't want to learn about that because it is something bad, and no one wants to learn about anything bad about themselves. And so it's totally understandable, but at the same time too, it is their own responsibility with how they act and their behavior. And so just gonna put it at that for toxic masculinity. And I feel like it is like my brothers definitely have this too, but I feel like they do understand it in a way, but not 100% though, because I feel like it has to come from a man, a Hmong man, you know, like, yes, I'm their older sister and I can tell them, but I can't really relate to them on this topic too, because this does have to do with our Hmong boys, our Hmong men. And so I feel like there has to be like a Hmong man that actually like tells them like this is what toxic masculinity is, this is how you detect it and how you can do better and everything like that, and so they can relate to that person versus just hearing it from a woman. Not that like a woman's opinion or facts doesn't matter, but I think it's just about the relating part. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then on to our next trauma.
Oh Lord.
It's such a really, we'll just go over it like really briefly because it's such a topic where you have to dissect so many things, you know? Like, damn, childhood trauma, y'all. Gosh, that really affects you as an adult. And you don't learn about these things until you actually grow up. You're like, damn, I'm this way because of how I was treated when I was a kid. You know? Like, it's like, there's so many layers to who you are, you know? And that all relates down to what trauma you have and how can you heal from this trauma. And trauma, how do you discuss it with your elders, you know? Because it's, I just think it's so freaking hard. Like, nobody believes, not nobody, but now they believe a little more, but a lot of elders don't believe in mental health issues. They don't believe in that stuff. So it's hard for them to understand what mental health issue is if they can't. Oh, it's hard for them to understand what trauma is if they don't believe in mental health issues, you know? Because your mental health issues really relates to your traumas that you have as, like, younger kids or as, like, for you growing up and stuff. Yeah, definitely a topic that I think it's a lot harder to discuss with your elders because they speak Hmong a lot better, and for us to really go into the topic, what Hmong words do we need to know to talk about this stuff? You know, like how when we went to that panel, there's no words to describe feelings for Hmong people,
right?
You know, like like damn, like what is it? Your liver? Is that your liver?
Lungs.
Really? I thought lungs and Jew.
No, look heart, you don't Jew.
No, look blood.
Oh, what? Oh yeah,
See?
yeah, you're right.
See?
Yeah, Shia is liver.
Right? Yeah. Like why do you liver hurt when you're feeling sad? You know what I mean? And it's like there's no ways to really describe our feelings, so we're not able to really have those discussions with our elders because they can't really express how they feel either because they don't know the words to express how they feel. And if they do know the words, we don't understand it because we don't know the words. So it's such like a topic where there's just so much conflicts in between. But definitely a topic that really needs to be discussed about so that all our family could heal together. So that Hmong people could really heal together, you know? Because you got to heal from within as an individual, as a family, and then boom, as a community and as a whole. So,
I absolutely agree. I think that it is something tough to talk to the elders. Like, I talked to my grandma about it. She don't really, like, she doesn't want to talk about it because she doesn't know what it is, and so she's just like, oh, I'm just this way because this is who I am, and that's it. But she doesn't like really talk about herself or her experiences or anything like that, you know, because I think they just, you know, they like to keep their raw emotions hidden, and so they don't really talk about it, and it's also weird for them to open up. And so that's why it's so normalized for them to just like internalize these feelings and experiences. And so that's what they don't know. Like, they don't know that they have to talk about it.
They don't know they're able to, you know. It's like because they've never talked to be able that you can't open up. You can talk about your feelings. It's okay. Right. You know, it's not a sign that you're weak. Being able to talk about your feelings means you're strong as hell.
Exactly.
Like, literally.
Like, even though you are being vulnerable, you are being very strong too. Yeah. So I absolutely agree with that. But I feel like I could share to my mom, and I just started sharing to her about my traumas, like especially my childhood trauma. And she was like, you have good memory. And I'm like, girl, this is a memory, okay? This is trauma. Like, it's what I actually went through. And of course, like, it's going to be a memory that is always stained in my head. Like, it's like a mental scar, you know? And I tell her about it, and, you know, like, she understands. And I'm really glad that I am able to talk to my mom about these things now. But back then, like, it was very different because, like, I do have like some like situations with my mom too, and then like I would tell her about it back then, and she would get very offended. But now, like, she doesn't get offended anymore, and she's very understanding. And so I'm glad that I could be really open about my feelings with her, and she could be open with her feelings with me too. And so that's a lot of growth, and I think it definitely takes like you and that person to really push and pull each other in the right way. Because, like, you know, if you were just to present like an event in a wrong way, they would take it the wrong way. But then that's also a lesson for you too. So you can understand how to communicate that with them, and then they can communicate back with you too. So definitely a lot of learning in that sector. But it just all comes back to healing yourself, healing your family.
I definitely think it's a really good topic to talk about, because it feels so good to talk about, because it's just so healing, you know, to be able to do that. So yeah. All right, on to our next one. Finances.
Bye.
For real. You know, when I was a kid, it was my birthday, and I got like money gift. My mom be like, "Oh, I'm taking you to put your savings." What savings? Like, I don't need to go to my savings. You know, like, I want to use some money now. Like, you know, as kids, we don't understand anything. What is the savings for? Like, what the heck? I want to use my money. Like, you know. And then now when we're older, we're like, damn, I got no money in my savings. All these bills. Now we understand. Like, when we're older, now we understand, you know? You know how, like, Miga people, or American people, or other people, they make their kids do chores, and they give their kids money, and the kids put in the piggy bank. I think it's so important to do that to your kids, so they know the importance of, like, oh, I did this and I got money, you know? So I could put in my savings so I could buy something that I really want in the future.
I agree, you know, with just having those allowances and, like, doing something and you earn something. It is important to teach that at a young age, because you get to, like, understand, like, that is how the world works, unfortunately. But my mom, she actually did give us allowances if we were good. So it was, like, based on our behavior. And it would just be, like, $5 a week. And so, we would earn $5 a week. And I feel like I was, like, me and my brother, we were the only ones that were saving our money, and our siblings, they would like splurge. They would, because we had a store down the street. They would just walk over there.
Lex is a good saver.
Yeah, I do have my mom to thank for that, because she did teach me how to save, and I appreciate that a lot. And so, yeah, my siblings, they were the opposite. They were like, oh my gosh, I got $5. What can I buy with this? I could buy a bag of hot Cheetos. I could buy this candy. I could buy a drink. Okay. And then, like, there's tax on the $4, and they get like $1 back and everything. And so they're like coming home with all of these goods. And, you know, honestly, like, I was low-key smart, because I'm like, I know they're going to come home with, like, some candy and stuff.
I'm
like,
going to eat it.
Yeah, like, I'll just, like, when they're not looking, take But, so that's what my mom did for us. But then it was only for, like, a short period of time, because, you know, we were also a low-income family. So 5 kids, my parents, and then my grandparents, too. So it was a lot to support.
Honestly, our parents did so much. Like, me just thinking about, like, wow, my parents and then us, like, 9 kids. Damn, like, how did they do that? How did they support us? Like, pay back then was so low, and of course everything was lower, like, you know, food and, like, housing was a lot lower and stuff. But wow, like, we really don't see how much our parents really do for us to, you know, really support us to get to where we are now.
Yeah, because, like, even though we're struggling right now in our own experience, like, for them it was like I would say much worse.
Like, I'm struggling to feed my own mouth. And they have 9 kids to feed. That's 11 kids.
Yeah.
You know, like, wow, I really give them props to, like, they really, like, packed up and left their home country to come to a new-ass country to work their ass off to just survive. You know what I mean?
Elemental.
Yeah.
Fire City and everything like that.
That made me really emotional, the movie.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah. But y'all should watch that movie so you guys know what we're talking about. But if you guys already watched it, then yeah,
you know
we're basically like fire
Mm-hmm.
coming into the new country and everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all I want to say is, like, when I was a kid, I always got so much money during my birthday, but now I'm older, I don't get any money, which is so sad.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like, damn, now I need money. What did I need money for as a kid?
Exactly.
I didn't need no money as a kid, but, like, shit, now I need the money. It's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, but I also want to, like, mention, too, that just, like, growing up and seeing that asking for help is not normal, like, I was in a financial, I was basically in a recession, like, personally. And I didn't feel comfortable asking for help from my parents. Like, I didn't feel comfortable asking, like, hey, can I borrow, like, $500? Yes, it was, like, I needed that $500. So I just didn't feel comfortable asking that. And me being the oldest, too, I didn't also want to ask my younger siblings because it just, like, I don't know, it just wasn't comfortable. And so I was like, where am I going to come up with this $500? Like, what am I going to do? And so, like, instead of going to my family, I would, like, search up, like, how to make
quick money.
Right, yes. Or, like, do I need to take a $500 loan out? Like,
yeah.
what do I need to do to get this $500? Like, no, I don't want to ask them. And it's not about pride, but I think it is a pride.
Pride, embarrassment.
Yeah,
like
it's pride. It's a hidden pride. Yeah, it's like a hidden pride that you don't realize about yourself because you don't think it's pride, but it is actually pride because it has been taught to you that, make sure that you are financially well off. You know, like, you don't need to ask for help or anything like that, and you just have to, you know, just be financially stable for yourself. And so that's why, like, it was so hard for me to ask for money. And yeah, I just really felt embarrassed because I never asked my parents for money until, like, now. And it's just like, I don't know, I feel like shy.
I know what you mean, girl.
Yeah. So, and even, like, with, like, my best friends paying for me, like, when Emmy was paying for me, and I would be like, I feel so, like, bad, and I feel really shy. Like, whenever she takes the card, I'm just like, I didn't see anything. Like,
But, like, that's why we're all here for each other, you know, like, family and friends. So we're here to support each other during our lowest. Also, one thing with finances I want to talk about is credit. We're not taught this at all. Not even in high school.
Yeah.
Not, you know, through our whole life, we're not taught this. And then, boom, I'm in college, and they're like, you need credit for a car. You need credit for a house. You need credit for this. I'm like, what the fuck is credit?
Yeah.
You know, like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like, I just wish we were taught this stuff so we could have been building our credit when we were younger, you know?
For us, like, it was something foreign to us. Like, my parents, they did have credit cards, but they didn't teach us about it. Like, I learned to open up my first credit card by myself. And when I told my mom that I had a credit card, she was like...
They were so angry at us for having credit cards.
Yeah.
Was your parents?
My grandparents were. But my mom wasn't.
Debt. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's something that they don't understand what credit is. Credit is something that could help you
get
things. But if you abuse credit in the wrong way, then you're going to have... That's me right now. Not gonna say nothing. Like, life is hard.
Yes, let's leave it at that.
Yeah, leave it at that. But teach your kids about credit and how to use credit the correct way, y'all.
Yes.
So they can build for their life. All right, on to our last topic: dreams and goals, adulting, moving out. Let me tell y'all, I still live at home with my parents, and I like. You know, I love that because I love my parents and I want to be there for them, you know, like, you know, take care of them, all that stuff. But I crave that, like, just being alone and having my
Mm-hmm.
peace and like being able to get into my house and just lay down and not do nothing and I get tripped at, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I crave that so much. But like mom parents, if you move out, you are ungrateful for your parents. If you move out, you don't love your parents and they very much guilt trip you and all that stuff. And I fall for the guilt trip all the time because
Mm-hmm.
I love my family so freaking much, you know? But then I think of it in a very positive light because I do love my parents so much and they did so much for me, you know, coming here and they've supported me so much that I want to give back to them too. But then I'm like, why can't I give back to them even though I'm living by myself? Like, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
there's so many thoughts that cross my head and I just like fight with myself so much when it comes to like moving out, you know. With moving out, it just comes with the peace and that's what I crave, like just the peace, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a topic that I think our parents like need to understand that just because your son or daughter wants to move out doesn't mean that they don't love you anymore. Just because they move out doesn't mean that you know they're ungrateful for you.
Mm-hmm.
They want to learn to adult. They want to learn, you know, to
Mm-hmm.
be by themselves and still be able to take care of you and love you. You know, so I
Mm-hmm.
think it's something that definitely needs to be talked about. Definitely something that you shouldn't guilt trip your kids about just because they have goals and dreams of you know adulting and doing things on their own, being more independent.
I live by myself, or I live on my own. And how I even started was I just moved out. I really did.
She's up
And
and left.
yeah, because not that I was being inconsiderate, but it was really to protect my peace. Like, I love my parents 100%, and I would do anything for them, but it only comes to an extent for like doing something for them because like if it gets to the point where it's just like you are just not tolerable anymore, like you do have to do something about it. And I did do something about it, and I was like, you know what, I am gonna go, but it's not like they're gonna be lonely. They're still gonna have like my siblings there as well too, and they'll always have me, like I am just like I was just 10 minutes away when I moved into my first apartment. And I always like would go over probably like 3-4 times a week too.
Yeah.
And so like it was like I was part-time living there as well. And so yeah, like sometimes you do just have to get up and leave and just really protect your mental health and your well-being, because when you're like stuck in something that is so conditioned and familiar and normalized, like you start
You don't have space to
abusing.
grow.
Right, yeah, you start like abusing your like um
Advantage
your
of
growth.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
you abuse your growth, and also sometimes some people just take advantage of that, and
Mm-hmm.
they
Like they want you to stay little forever.
yeah.
Yeah.
So do what's
Mm-hmm.
best for you, but I
Mm-hmm.
still think it's important to have those conversations with your parents before you pick up and leave. And yeah, sometimes when ties are cut off, it's
Mm-hmm.
needed,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, I think it's so important when you still want those connections with your family to have the conversations first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, cause like when I did leave and everything, I didn't have that conversation with them, and I did like cut them off for a good year. Um, but it was funny though, cause I still remember when it was my birthday, they sent me like happy birthday texts and everything. But I was like, no, that's not gonna work, But it was just like a dark time in my life, and so I was just like doing everything by myself. But then, soon like time heals all, and I was like, maybe this could be something that could be ignited again. And so, I finally had the conversation with just my mom, because my mom is very understanding. She's someone that I could talk to about these things. And so I had a conversation with her, and I feel like when I did leave, like that gave my parents a lot of insight with their children.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really glad that they got that, because I feel like I also opened up a lot of doors for my siblings too,
Mm-hmm.
because like like honestly, I'd be jealous of them. I'm like, damn, y'all could stay past midnight and not get yelled at, and you guys can do stuff that and just not get yelled at. Like, you know,
I still get yelled at.
yeah, like my sister dyed her hair red and she was still living with my parents and she didn't get kicked out. And I was like, wow, like this is exactly like what an older sibling is for, you know, like opening these doors and breaking these barriers. Cause like when I did finally have my conversation with my mom about leaving and everything, she said that that gave like a lot of insight for my parents, especially my dad, because my mom was like, oh, you know, like your daughter left and everything like that, like you need to understand that your kids, they're just not kids, but they're their own self too, and they could do what they want, they like what they like, they don't like what they don't like, and you have to understand and respect that. And I think like he really took it into consideration because he didn't want like another child to just leave like that. And so I'm really happy that, you know, my parents did see this in a bright or in a positive way, rather than like, oh no, like we got to be even more strict, like we got to like make sure that no one ever leaves and everything like that. But they saw it in a positive way. But yeah, there's always like room for improvement for every family, and like Emmy mentioned, it is depending on your situation. Yeah, so do what's best for you.
Yes, do what's best for you. All right, so that sums up our episode for today, y'all. Oh my God.
We hope that y'all enjoyed it.
It was a good conversation. I loved it. So we hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you so much for tuning in for episode 13. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify at Madam One Girl. And we're here for you every other Wednesday. And we'll see you soon, girlies.